Hello friends, this is Ramesh for CA. Today my agenda to deal a problem of each standard of in module 3 of financial reporting. Okay, right. Now I am going to standard India's 19 employee benefits. The problem is the issue. What is the issue is RKA Private Limited is an old company established in 1900. The company started with a very small capital base and today it is one of the leading companies in India in its industry. The company has an annual turnover of 11,000 crores and planning to get listed in the next year. The company has a large employee base. The company provided a defined benefit plan to its employees. We know defined benefit plan and defined contribution plans. There are two plans is there. In that short-term employment benefits, other long-term employment benefits, post-employment benefits, termination benefits. These are in this way. Next, following is the information relating to the balances of funds, assets and liabilities as at 1st April 2001 and 31st March 2002. But here RK Private Limited started long ago. But here the details given here for 1st April 2001 and 31st March 2002, the details related to those years here given. Next, particulars. Present value of benefit obligation on 1st April 2001 1400 lakhs, on 31st March 2002 1580 lakhs. Fair value of an assets, fair value of plan assets on 1st April 2001 here 1140 and on 31st March 2002 1275. For the financial year ended 31st March 2002, service cost was 55 lakhs. We know service cost, that is service cost, current service cost, first service cost. Here not given any any information related to fast service cost, so we assume it is related to current service cost, that is current year. Okay, next, the company made an contribution of an amount of 311 lakhs to the plan. Contribution how much? 311 lakhs. Next, no benefits were paid during the year. In this year, no benefits paid. Next, consider a discount rate of 8%. Here, what is the requirement here asked? Compute the balance of the company to be included in its balance sheet as on 31st March 2002 and amounts to be recognized in the statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended 31st March 2002. Okay, next, another sub question here asked. Give the journal entries in respect of amounts to be recognized. This is the requirement. What is the requirement? On 31st March 2002 in balance sheet, in profit and loss account and other comprehensive income, what are the amounts to be included in those financial statements of RKA Private Limited. This is the requirement. For giving of this requirement, we need to analyze the information in the question. Okay, first of all, as per India's 19, as per India's 19, here opening balance of defined benefit obligation, present value of defined benefit obligation on 1st April 2001 1400. Next, fair value of plan assets. How much? 1140. So 1400 minus net 1400 minus 1140. How much? 1400 minus 1140, 260. 260. Next, a discount rate 8%. So 20.8. So round figure 21. First of all, in balance sheet, closing net defined liability to be measured. Closing net defined benefit liability. Closing balance of plan assets, how much we need to see. Another one, closing balance of defined benefit obligation, how much. So difference amount need to be present in balance sheet. Next one, in profit and loss account, any current here current service cost is given, so that is expenditure need to be charged to the profit and loss account. Another one is net interest. Net interest, we now only we find out net interest 21, so need to be measured, need to be present in 21 and current service cost, that is profit and loss account. Another one is in other comprehensive income, any actuarial loss or gain, that is need to be present in net. We need to find out net remeasurement, that is to be present in other comprehensive income. Net remeasurement. So first of all, remeasurement include actuarial gains or losses, excluding net interest on defined benefit obligation, that is asset. So that is other one. So now in this way we need to solve the give problem. Okay, right. Here 21, that is net interest. Another is current service cost, how much here given 55. So total 76. 55 plus 21, that is 76. This is profit and loss account. Next, closing net defined benefit. Closing net defined liability, how much? 1580, that is present value of benefit obligation on closing date. So 1580 minus 1275, 305 need to be present in balance sheet, that is as liability. Next, remeasurement. Okay, yeah. Next, first of all, reconciliation. What is reconciliation? A present value of opening balance of defined benefit obligation, how much? Opening balance of defined benefit obligation. How much? Here 1400 lakhs. Next, need to be added interest for interest. How much? 1400. So 1400 into 8%. So 112, that is interest. Another one is current service cost. How much? 55 lakhs. Closing balance given how much? 1580. So 1400 plus 112 plus 55. Next, any benefits paid? Here not given any benefits paid. So closing balance 1580, but 1567, net effect 1580, remaining 13. This is actuarial loss. How much? 13 lakhs. Because actuarial considered based on his assumptions and his experience, measurements may be changed, but does not change with amendment, curtailment, settlement, any payable. Those are all not affected actuarial gains or losses, but actuarial gains or losses affected through employee turnover, unexpected any changes happen to different benefit payable. These are all effective actuarial assumptions. And okay, right. Here actuarial loss 13. Next, in case of reconciliation with plan assets, opening balance of fair value of plan assets. Fair value of plan assets. How much given here? 1040. Closing balance. Closing balance of plan assets. Fair value of plan assets given 1275. So fair value of plan assets will increase due to the cause of any contribution done by company. So fair value of plan assets will increases. So here contribution 311 lakhs. 311 lakhs. Next, next 1140 plus 311 1251 1270. Yeah, contribution. Next, difference amount, actual return 24, actual return 24, but actually 1140 8% interest. 1 minute. Yeah, and on 1140 interest will be received. 1140 interest, how much? 8%, 91 lakhs. But here only the actual return here only 24. Difference how much? Loss on return 91 minus 24. So loss on return 67. Actually we need to receive on 1140 8% interest, but actual return only here showing 24, but difference 67. This is loss on return. Another actuarial loss 13 is there. So total how much loss? 13 plus 67, totally 80. So this 80 need to be shown in other comprehensive income. Other comprehensive income 80. Okay. Here the first requirement, compute the balance of the company to be included in its balance sheet. How much amount need to be present? 395. Difference of closing balance of defined benefit obligation and fair value of plan assets. Okay. Another one is in profit and loss account, current service cost and net interest need to be shown. Another one is in other comprehensive income, how much amount need to be present? 80. That is loss on return. Another one is actuarial loss. Next, here asking journal entries. Okay, here asking journal entries. What is the journal entry? Profit and loss account, how much need to be present? 76. Another one is other comprehensive income, how much? That is 80. To cash contribution, how much? 311. So net effect, balancing figure, net defined benefit obligation, that is 45. 76 plus 80, 156. 311 plus 45, 156. Yeah, this is journal entry. We can find out 45. Opening balance of net defined benefit obligation, closing net defined benefit obligation. Here closing net defined benefit obligation 305. Opening 1400 minus 260. So how much amount increases? 305 minus 260. So 45 increases. This is net increase in net defined benefit obligation. Net increase in defined benefit obligation. How much? 45. Okay. This is journal entry. Okay. This is Ind AS 19. Yeah. Next I am going to another standard, that is Ind AS 37. Okay. The problem is Ind AS 37. Provisions, contingent assets, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. Okay, Ind AS 37, provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. This is title of Ind AS 37. Okay, the problem is here, X Limited is operating in the telecom industry. During the financial year 2001-2002, the income tax authorities sent a scrutiny assessment notice under section 143 subsection 2 of the Income Tax Act 1961 in respect to return filed under section 139 of this act for the provision for the previous year 2000-2001, that is assessment year 2001-2002, and initiated assessment proceedings on account of a deduction claimed by the company, which is in the view of authorities was inadmissible, nothing but not deductible, not allowable. During the financial year 2001-2002 itself, the assessment proceedings were completed and the assessment officer did not allow the deduction and raised a demand of 1 crore against the company. The company contested such levy and filed an appeal with the appellate authority. We know appellate authority, Commissioner of Income Tax first, next Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, next High Court, next Supreme Court, appellate authority structure. Okay, next the company contested at the end of the financial year 2001-2002. The appeal had not been heard. Okay, the company is not confident whether the company would win the appeal. However, the company was advised by its legal counsel that on a similar matter, two appellate authorities of different jurisdictions had given conflicting judgments, one in favor of the SSC, one in against the SSC. The legal counsel further stated that it had more than 50% of chance of winning the appeal. Please advise how the company should account for these transactions in the financial year 2001-2002. Here, this is the question. As per Ind AS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets, when provision need to be provided by the company, that is the present obligation arising from past events and outflow of economic benefits, and reliable estimate amount, how much amount of obligation need to be paid. This is the condition. Okay, here you need to be whether provision is required or not. First of all, a provision is required. Why? Because there is no guarantee, there is no sure from evidence of from expert advisor, more than 50% chance win the appeal, but not sure 100% to win the appeal. So that's why company need to be provide provision for entire 1 crore for financial year 2000-2002. And also another thing, company does not confident with to win the appeal, support to expert opinion. Okay, this is Ind AS 37. Next I am going to another standard, that is Ind AS 12, income taxes. Okay, the problem is here, A Limited recognizes interest income in its books on accrual basis. However, for income tax purposes, the method is cash basis. On December 31st, 2001, it has interest receivable of 10,000 and the tax rate was 25%. On 20th February 2001, the finance bill is introduced in the legislation that changes the tax rate to 30%. The finance bill is enacted as Act on 21st May 2002. Discuss the treatment of deferred tax in case the reporting date of A Limited's financial statement is 31st December 2001, and these are approved for issue on 31st May 2002. This is the question. Okay, here the accounting period, calendar year. Okay, 31st December 2001, 31st December 2001. Deferred tax asset, deferred tax liability. When carrying amount is more than tax base, then need to be recognized deferred tax liability. When carrying amount is less than tax base, then need to be provided deferred tax asset. But here company recognized the interest on accrual basis, but income tax purposes that is cash basis. So here interest receivable, how much? 10,000 of amount receivable and interest receivable on 31st December 2001. So carrying amount as per accrual basis 10,000, but in tax base nil, because here only recognize on cash basis only. So here carrying amount is more than tax base, so deferred tax liability need to be provided, but on which percentage need to be take for providing of deferred tax liability. Here asking 25% or 30%. Here the actual tax rate 25%, but the finance bill to changes the tax rate to 30%, but approval is not there at the reporting date because it approved on 31st May 2002. So that's why we need to provide for 25% only on reporting date. So this is the answer for this issue. Okay, now 10,000. Okay, on 10,000 25%, so 2,500. This is the deferred tax liability. Okay, right. Next I am going to another standard, that is Ind AS 21. Ind AS 21, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. The title of Ind AS 21, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. This is title of Ind AS 21. Okay, now the problem is here, Infotech Global Limited has a functional currency of US dollar and needs to translate its financial statements into the functional and presentation currency of Infotech INC. Infotech INC in bracket L dollars. L dollars means Liberian dollars. That is one of the country. So Liberian dollars. The following balances appear in the books of Infotech Global Limited at the year ended pre to translation. So property, plant and equipment US dollar 50,000, receivables 9,35,000. We need to translate this amount to Liberian dollars, from US dollars to Liberian dollars. We need to translate. Okay, total assets $9,85,000 US dollars. Issued capital 50,000, already converted Liberian dollars 30,055. Opening retained earnings, that is pre-populated. Opening retained earnings 28,000, Liberian dollars 15,274. Another one is profit and loss account, profit for the year here 20,000. Another one is accounts payable 8,40,000. Accrued liabilities 47,000. Total equity and liabilities are given 9,85,000. Next, translate the above balances of Infotech Global Limited into Liberian dollars ready for consolidation by Infotech INC. Here share capital and opening retained earnings have been pre-populated. Prepare a working of the cumulative balance of foreign currency translation zero. Here the requirement, what is the requirement need to give? Prepare a working of the cumulative balance of foreign currency translation zero. We need to give this working note of about foreign currency cumulative balance of foreign currency translation reserve. Additional information given here, relevant exchange rates or rate at beginning of the year. 1 Liberian dollar equal 1.22 US dollar. So here this is home currency to Liberian dollars. Infotech Inc. This is direct quote to Infotech Inc. It is indirect quote to Global Infotech Global Limited, because here the expression of expression of foreign currency, the way, this is one way quote. Liberian dollar 1 equal to US dollar 1.22. This is one way quote. This is indirect quote. This is indirect quote to Infotech Global Limited, because the expression of currency in for home currency, per unit of home currency terms, you are showing for home currency, per unit of home currency. In case of per unit of foreign currency, then it is in direct quote to Infotech Global Limited. So it is indirect quote to Infotech Global Limited. Okay, right. Rate at the beginning of year, one Liberian dollars 1.22 US dollars. Next, average rate for the year, 1 Liberian dollar equal to 1.175 US dollars. Next, rate at the end of the year, 1 Liberian dollar equal 1.13 US dollars. This is the information. Now we need to give the working note about to find out cumulative balance of foreign currency translation reserve. Okay, first of all, we need to convert US dollars to Liberian dollars, and then after we need to compare before conversion, after conversion. Any difference is there, that is foreign currency translation zero. That reason need to be in another way, showing opening balance of opening capital funds, like share capital, opening share capital, reserves and surplus, and profit and loss account. Compare with closing. Any increase or decrease in capital funds, equity funds. Okay, that is equal to what is the difference between before translation or after translation. Okay, in that way we need to give the answer. Now, right, okay, here one question we need to arise ourselves. When opening rate are to be applied, when opening rate are applied, when closing rate are applied, when average rate are applied. In case monetary items, non-monetary items. In case of monetary items, monetary items, nothing but monetary assets. Monetary assets need to be present at the end of the reporting period. For closing price, at the end of it, plus for closing price. But in case of profit and loss related items, recorded at average rate, recorded using of average rate. But in case of non-monetary items like property, plant and equipment, and land and building, any building, these are all present historical cost. If not historical cost, or at the date of transaction, okay, transaction price, for transaction price need to be present. Here one thing, in property, here property, plant and equipment $50,000, but here the transaction price is not given, and also historical cost are also not given. So which price need to be present, need to be take, and for which price need to be present this property, plant and equipment. That is one of the question need to be arise ourselves. But here we assume this property, plant and equipment purchased at the end of the closing period. So that's why we need to present for US dollar 1.13. Okay, now property, plant and equipment. Yeah, 50,000 US dollars. This is 50,000 US dollars. 50,000 US dollars need to be converted to Liberian dollar. One Liberian dollar. Okay, 1 Liberian dollar is called US dollars 1.22. 1.22. Okay, for 50,000 US dollars, how much? So 50,000 by 1.22. How much? 40,000 983 Liberian dollars. So Liberian dollars property plant 40,983. Receivables same receivables one Liberian dollar. So this is one way. Another one is need to be present for $1. For $1, how many Liberian US dollars? So present $1. So $1, your cross multiplication, like your one Liberian dollar equal 1.22 US dollar. So $1. So US dollar equal to 1 by 1.22. That is $1 equal 1 by 1.22. Same average rate for the here. Same $1 equal 1 by 1.175 Liberian dollars. Okay. Next, same. Next rate at the end of the year, $1 equal 1 by 1.13. So that way also better. Now 9,35,000. So 9,35,000 that is receivables. So that is monitor item. So need to be present for at closing rate. So closing rate how much? 1 by 1.13. So how much? 8,27,433.62. So 434. Please round off for simple calculation. 8,27,434. Total how much? For in case of total assets point of view, 40,983, that 983 Liberian dollars and 8,27,434 Liberian dollars. Total how much? 8,68,417. This is total assets. Next, issued capital already pre-populated. So how much? 30,055 Liberian dollars. Opening retained earnings also pre-populated. So 15,274 Liberian dollars. Another one is profit and loss account, profit for the year. So profit and loss items need to be present for average rate. So here average rate, so 20,000 by 1.175. How much? 17,021 Liberian dollars. Another one is accounts payable. What is the difference between monetary items and non-monetary items? So monetary items, nothing but it can be measured in determinable amounts of fixed currency. So it can be measured. So other than non-monetary items, nothing but other than monetary items, other than monetary assets. That is non-monetary assets. Okay, now here accounts payable, 8,40,000. So 8,40,000 at closing rate 1.13. So 1.13. How much? 7,43,363. Next, accrued liabilities. So this is one of the liability. So 47,000 by 1.13. How much? 41,592.92. So we need to round up 41,593. So total how much? 30,055 plus 15,274 plus 17,021 plus 7,43,363 plus 41,593. Total 8,47,306. Okay. Here for assets, for liabilities, the difference is there. How much? 8,47,306 minus 8,27,434. So 434. 1 minute. Yeah, this is very important. In our strategic financial management also I told you, whenever we take the figures from question, please be conscious. Whenever we take wrong figures, the problem, total problem will be loose, will make me mistake. So here I took, I told 50,000 need to be present for at a closing rate. We assumed it acquired at the end of the year, so we need to be recorded at a closing rate. But I took 1.22 US dollars. So actually I need to take 1.13. but I took 1.22, so that's why our problem will be mistake. So please keep focus whenever you took the figures from quotient. Okay, now here 50,000, so 50,000 by 1.13, so how much? 44,247. 44,247. So total assets 44,248. So total assets 44,248 plus 8,27,434. Total how much? 8,71,682. So 8,71,682. So assets side more. In liability side 8,47. So difference how much? 8,47,306. 24,376. This is foreign currency translation reserve. How much? 24,376. So the difference amount need to be transferred foreign currency translation reserve. Now we show you through in the other way. Suppose, yeah, opening balance. Opening balance of issued capital 30,000, 55 librarian US dollars. Next 15,274 librarian dollars. Another one is 20,000 profit and loss. Already we that is 17,021. Suppose these are all present for closing at closing rate. So how much? 50,000. You should get 50,000 by 1.13. How much? 44,247. Next opening return earnings for closing, so 28,000 by 1.13. how much? 24,779. Next 20,000, so 20,000 by 1.13. how much? 17,699. so issued capital how much increases due to how much increases? 44,247 minus 30,055, 14,192. Next retained earnings how much increases? 24,779 minus 15,274, 9,505. Next profit and loss 17,699 minus 17,021. how much? 678. so total how much? 14,192 plus 9,505 plus 678. so 24,376, round figure 24,376. this is the working note. Here requirement, the working prepare a working of cumulative balance of foreign currency translation reserve. so this is working note. so 24,376, right? This is India's 21 the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. Yeah, now I am going to another standard, that is India's 24. India's 24 related party disclosures. The title of India's 24 is related party disclosures. Okay, related party disclosures. The problem is ABC Limited is a long-standing customer of XYZ Limited. Mrs. P, whose husband is a director in XYZ Limited, purchased a controlling interest in entity ABC Limited on 1st June 2001. Sales of products from XYZ Limited to ABC Limited in the 2-month period from 1st April 2001 to 31st May 2001 totaled 8 lakhs. Okay. Following the sale purchase by Mrs. P, XYZ Limited began to supply the products at a discount of 20% to their normal selling price and allowed ABC Limited 3 months credit. Previously, ABC Limited was only allowed 1 month's credit. That is XYZ Limited's normal credit policy. Sales of products from XYZ Limited to ABC Limited in the 10-month period from 1st June 2001 to 31st March 2001 totaled 60 lakhs. On 31st March 2002, the trade receivables of XYZ Limited included 18 lakhs in respect of amounts owing by ABC Limited. Analyze and show where possible by quantifying amounts how the above event would be reported in the financial statements of XYZ Limited for the year ended 31st March 2002 as per Ind AS. You are required to mention the disclosure requirements as well. This is the question. Okay, right here. ABC Limited is a long-lasting customer to XYZ Limited. In XYZ Limited, Mrs. P. Okay, right. Yeah, Mrs. P. P is a director. First of all, P is a director in. Yeah, we know one typical point. What we know? Yeah, related party relationship can be happen with the reporting entity in two ways. One is individual can be a related party relationship with the reporting entity. Another one is company. So in two forms. Another one is we know paragraph 9A, paragraph 9B. So that is one point. Here Mrs. P controlling interest purchased in ABC Limited. So XYZ Limited, Mrs. P husband is a director. Here Mrs. P husband is a director. So this director is a key management personnel. One condition we know, any closely family member of key management personnel. So that is a related party relationship. So here ABC Limited from June 1st, from 1st June onwards, XYZ Limited need to be present as a related party relationship is there. Related party relationship is there. Here from 1st April total, from 1st April 2001 to 31st May 2001, total 8 lakhs in 2-month period. Total sales done by XYZ Limited to ABC Limited 8 lakhs. Another one is 10 month period 60 lakhs. So total related party relationship. So total 68 lakhs need to be recorded because of related party relationship. So 68 lakhs. Another one is on 31st March 2002. So these are all separately need to be disclosed because related party relationship between ABC Limited and XYZ Limited. So from 1st June onwards, XYZ Limited controlled ABC Limited. So it need to be present. 18 lakhs also separately need to be disclosed at the end of 31st March 2002. Okay, right. You are required to mention disclosure requirements. Any other terms also need to be present. Right. Okay, this is Ind AS 24 related party disclosures. Now next I am going to another standard, that is Ind AS 33 earning per share. The title of Ind AS 33 earnings per share. Okay, the problem is here, calculate subsidiaries and groups basic earning per share and diluted earning per share when parent profit attributable to ordinary equity holders of the parent entity 12,000 excluding any earnings of or dividends paid by the subsidiary. Ordinary shares outstanding 10,000. Next, instruments of subsidiary owned by the parent 800 ordinary shares. Next, 30 warrants exercisable to purchase ordinary shares of subsidiary. Next, 300 convertible preference shares. Next, subsidiary point of view. Profit earned by subsidiary company 5,400. Ordinary shares outstanding 1,000. Warrants 150 exercisable to purchase ordinary shares of the subsidiary. Next, exercise price 10 rupees. Average market price of one ordinary share 20 rupees. Convertible preferences 400 each convertible into one ordinary share. Dividend on preference shares 1 rupee per share. No intercompany eliminations. or adjustments were necessary except for dividends. Next, ignore income taxes. Also, ignore classification of components of convertible financial instruments as liabilities and equity, or the classification of related interest and dividends as expenses and equity as required by Ind AS 32. So everything need to be eliminated as per Ind AS 32 classification of equity and liability. Okay, ignore taxes also. Here only asked subsidies basic earning per share and diluted earning per share, and also groups earning per groups basic earning per share and diluted earning per share. Here asking, this is the requirement. So now we need to present individual point of view, individual and separate point of view. Okay, from first of all we need to present subsidy point of view. So subsidy is basic earning per share, how much? Here the profit available is 5400. So basic earning per share, so earnings available to equity shareholders by weighted average of number of equity shares. So here 5400, but here also dividend, here 400 convertible preference is there, so 400. So 1 rupee dividend on per 1 rupee dividend per share, per preference share. So here 400. So subsidy company need to pay dividend 1 rupee per 400 shares. So how much amount need to be deduct from our earnings 400. So 5400 minus 400. So 5000, that is earnings available to equity shareholders. So what is the basic earning per share? 5000 by how many outstanding equity shares? 1000. So 5 rupees. This is basic earning per share. And next to diluted earning per share. So yeah, 400 convertible preferences converted into one ordinary equity share. So we need not to pay dividend 1 rupee. So need not to be deducted 400. So how much amount? 5400. But now here 1000 existing sales. Another, here warranty. We know what is the difference between warrants and debentures. Warrant is a option to exercise, and warrants settled with only equity shares, not exercise cash, need not to pay cash. Okay, here 150 rupees, 150 warrants. How many here? 150. But actually average market price 20 rupees, but exercise price 10 rupees only. So how much we received? How much received by company? 150 into 10 rupees. So 1500. Actually how much amount need to receive? 150 into 20. So 3000. But actually received only 1500. Okay, need to be converted to fully paid. Suppose this is paid with average market price per share. So how many equity shares paid? So we need to 1500 by for 20 rupees. So how many? 75 shares. So potential equity shares 75 need to be included. Another one is yeah, 400. So one preference share is equal to is converted to one ordinary share. How many shares? 400. So 5400 plus 1000 existing shares, 75 warrants, from warrants another 400. So total 1475. Now 5400 by 1475, 3.66. diluted earning per share how much? 3.66. This is subsidiary basic earning per share 5 rupees, subsidiary diluted earning per share 3.66. Now I am going to deal with parent group basic earning per share, group diluted earning per share. Yeah, here available profit how much? 12,000. So consolidated earnings, we need to calculate consolidated earnings. Okay, here 12,000. 800 ordinary shares. 800 ordinary shares included in a subsidiary company. Total in subsidiary company how many shares? 1,000. In those 1,000, 800 is related to parent company. So basic earning per share measured in a subsidiary 5 rupees. So those 5, 800 into 5 need to be added to parent company's earnings. So 12,000 plus 4,000. Another one is total in a subsidiary company, total convertible preferences 400. In those 400, 300 is related to parent company. Okay, one subsidiary company paid 1 rupee as a dividend to preferences. So in those 300 into 1, that is dividend also need to be adjusted to parent earnings. So 300. So total how much? 12,000. Sorry, 12,000 plus 4,000 plus 300. 16,300 rupees. Yeah, these 16,300 is related to parents shareholders. Parents shareholders how many here? 10,000. So by 10,000. So 1.63. 1.63. Yeah, 1.63. Next, diluted. This is basic earning per share. That is group basic earning per share. Now need to be present diluted earning per share. Here, yeah, 12,000 plus. Next up. Yeah. Proportionate share of parent shareholding in subsidiaries shareholding. 800. So 800 by 1,000. 800 by 1,000. That is 80%. 80%. So diluted earning per share to subsidiary company 3.66. So 3.66 into 1,000. 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares into 3.66. How much? 3,660. In those 3,660, parents proportion how much? 80%. So 80%. How much? 2,928. So need to be added to 12,000. 2,928. Next, convertible warrants. Number of shares related to warrants how many? 75. So 75. Parent company how many shares? 30. So the parents proportion how much? 30 by 75. 30 by 75. How much? 40%. So actually 75 into 3.66. How much? 75 into 75 into 3.66. 274.5. In those 274.5, parents proportion how much? 40%. So 40%. 109.8. 109.8. Next, next 400 shares. Okay, 400 into 3.66. Sorry, in 400, what is the parents proportion? How much? 300 by 400. How much? 75%. Actually 400 into 3.66. 400 into 3.66. How much? 1,464. In those 75%. Parents proportion how much? 75%. So 75%. How much? 1,098. So total earnings 12,000 plus 2,928 plus 109.8 plus 1,098. Total 16,135.8. So for 10,000. For 10,000. How much? 1.61358. This is the diluted earning per share to parent company. Yeah, sorry. Total warrants 150. In those 150, 30. So 30 by 150. Portion how much? 30 by 150. 20%. So 75 into 3.66 into 20%. How much? 55. So we need to add 55 instead of 109.8. I missed out that one. So now 12,000 plus 2928 plus 55 plus 1098. Total 16,081 by 8 10,000. 10,000. So 1.6081. Round of 1.61. 1.61. This is diluted earning per share. Parent diluted earning per share. So this is India's 33 earning per share. Yeah, next I am going to another standard, that is India's 108 operating segments. India's 108. The title of India's 108, operating segments. Okay, operating segments. Right. The problem is here, X Limited is operating in coating industry. Its business segment comprise coating and others consisting of chemicals, polymers, related activities. Certain information for financial year 2001-2002 is given below. Certain information related to 2001-2002 given below. Segments, coating one segment, others another one is other segment. Okay. Coating segment external sale 2 lakhs. Tax how much? 5,000. This is 5,000 is related to sales tax, not income tax here given. Okay. Other operating income how much? 40,000. So result 10,000. Assets segment result 10,000. Segment assets 50,000. Segment liabilities 30,000. That is coating segment related information. Next others external sale 70,000, tax 3,000, other operating income 15,000, result 4,000, asset 30,000, liabilities 10,000. Okay, we know one point, segment assets. So unallocated assets need to be included in segment assets. Segment liabilities. So segment liabilities included unallocated liabilities. Liabilities also included. Need to be included. Okay, that is one typical point. Next, additional information here given. Unallocated revenue net of expenses is here. The figure given number of zeros. So here we need to be focus, be conscious, because here 30 00 3 zeros. So here this is 3,000 lakhs. Okay, interest and bank charges is 2,000 lakhs. Right. Interest and bank charges is 2,000 lakhs. Income tax expenses is 2,000 lakhs. In those 2,000 lakhs, current tax 1,950 lakhs and deferred tax 50 lakhs. Next, investments 10,000 lakhs and unallocated assets 10,000 lakhs. Next, unallocated liabilities, reserves and surplus and share capital are how much? 20,000 lakhs unallocated liabilities, reserves and surplus 30,000 lakhs and share capital 10,000 lakhs. Okay, right. Next, depreciation amounts for coating and others are 10,000 lakhs and 300 lakhs. Yeah, depreciation amount for coating 1,000 lakhs and others 300 lakhs, because here you confuse because lot of disease is there. So here be conscious while taking this problem. Next, capital expenditure for coating and others are capital expenditure for coating 5,000 lakhs and for others 2,000 lakhs. Okay, right. Next, revenue from outside India is 30,000 lakhs and segment asset outside India how much? 10,000 lakhs. Here what is the requirement? Based on the above information, how X Limited would disclose information about reportable segment revenue, reportable segment of profit or loss, assets and liabilities for financial year 2001-2002. Okay, this is the requirement required from our side. Okay, now first of all we need to calculate first segment revenue, and then after segment results, and then after segment assets, and then after segment liabilities, and then after others, and then after geographical information. So vertical way, first segment assets, so segment results, sorry, segment revenue, next segment results, and then after segment assets, and then after segment liabilities, and then after others, and then after geographical information need to be presented in vertical format, vertical way, for convenient way. Okay, first of all, now yeah, first segment revenue. So segment revenue particulars for quoting, for others, total. Okay, first external sale, how much for quoting? 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs. Please write in above amount in rupees, amount in lakhs. So 2 lakhs. Others how much? 70,000. So total 2 lakh 70,000. Next, need to be reduced tax. So tax need to be reduced, that is sales tax. Here the sales tax includes external sales total, so need to be reduced for getting net sales. Okay, okay. Say tax, how much? 5,000 for quoting, next 3,000 for others, so total 8,000. Next, net external sale, here 1,95,000, here 67,000, total 2,70,000 minus 8,000, so how much? 2,62,000. Next, other operating income. How much? 40,000 related to quoting and 50,000 related to others. Total 55,000. So total how much? Right. 1,95,000 plus 40,000. 2,35,000 for 2,35,000 for quoting. 67,000 plus 15,000. How much? 82,000 for others. Total how much? 3,17,000. So this is segment revenue. Another one is here given unallocated revenue net of expenses is 3,000 lakhs. So this one also need to be add up to total. Okay, total unallocated revenue how much? 3,000 lakhs. So total how much? Plus 3,000. So 320. 3,20,000. This is segment revenue. Next, unallocated need not to be included with revenue. 3,70,000, that is enough. Next, result. Here result for quoting how much? Here given 10,000, for others 4,000, total 14,000. Next, unallocated revenue net of expenses, that is unallocated revenue, but I misunderstand with revenue. So this is unallocated income. So unallocated income net of expenses how much? 3,000 lakhs. So total 17,000 lakhs. This is result. Next, segment asset. Yeah, segment assets. segment assets. Yeah, here given asset given 50,000 for quoting and 30,000 for others, total 80,000. Here need to be unallocated here investments, so need to be added investment. This is one of the asset of segments. So total 10,000 lakhs. Next, unallocated assets, unallocated asset, that is also 10,000, so that is 1 lakh. This is assets. Next, liabilities, segment liabilities. Yeah, liabilities given 30,000 for quoting and 10,000 for others, total 40,000. So unallocated liabilities how much? 20,000 lakhs, 20,000 lakhs. Next, reserves on surplus 30,000 lakhs, share capital 10,000. So total 30,000, 10,000. So total how much? Yeah, 1 lakh. Here segment liability also 1 lakh. Next, others capital expenditure. Yeah, capital expenditure here given how much? Capital expenditure for quoting 55,000, 2,000 for others. So total 7,000. Others, so need not be right to total point of view. So for quoting 5,000, for others. Next, revenue, that is enough. In others information, depreciation also need to be right. Depreciation how much? 10,000, 10,000 lakhs. 10,000 or 1,000 lakhs, sorry, 1,000 lakhs. Next, depreciation for others 300 lakhs, 300 lakhs. Okay, this is other information. Next, geographical information. So from India point of view, for outside India point of view, outside India, outside India. So total, yeah, segment revenue. Here written segment revenue and segment asset. Next, capital. So capital total 7,000, depreciation total 1,300. So total capital how much? 7,000. But is this total capital expenditure 7,000 is related to in India. So India 7,000. Segment asset. Here segment asset to 1 crore, 1 lakh. We got 1 lakh. In those 1 lakh from outside India 10,000. 10,000. So 90,000 is related to in India. Next, revenue. Revenue how much? 3,17,000. Total 3,17,000. In those 3,17,000, revenue from outside India how much? 30,000. So 3,17,000 minus the 30,000. So in India 2,87,000. Okay, this is geographical information. Sorry, segment assets. Segment assets 80,000 only. Segment assets 80,000 only. So in 80,000, 10,000 related to from outside India. So 17,000, not 90,000. So 70,000 is in India. Okay. This is the okay. Another one I missed out. We find result up to 17,000. We not considered income tax. So now income tax, current tax how much? 1950, deferred tax 50, so 2,000. That is before considering that one. Interest and bank charges here given. Interest and bank charges 2,000. So from 17,000, 2,000 need to be deducted. So remaining 15,000. In those 15,000, we need to be deducted current tax and deferred tax. Total tax 2,000. So net amount 13,000 is segment result amount 13,000. Okay, right. This is India's 108 operating segments. Yeah, I hope it is useful you. Please subscribe my channel Like it, comment and share it. Please stay tuned on my channel. Thank you.